The World in Fog. January 5th, 2025, the day the world changed. The morning of January 5th, 2025, started like any other. People woke up, checked their phones, got ready for work. In New York, the sun was rising over the skyline. In Tokyo, the night was setting in. Everything was normal. And then it wasn't. At exactly 9:17 a.m., a dense fog began to roll in, slow at first, then unnaturally fast. It appeared simultaneously in every city, every country, every continent. Satellite feeds caught something terrifying. It wasn't rising from the ground. It was descending from the sky. The first few hours. By 10:00 a.m., major highways across the world were in chaos. Planes were forced to land or disappeared mid-air, their final transmissions full of static and garbled voices. By noon, the world was silent. No internet, no cell signals, no television broadcast, just the fog. It wasn't ordinary mist. It was thick, heavy, like wet wool pressed against your face. It had a smell, a strange mix of metal, ozone, and something sweet, almost rotting. And it moved, not with the wind, but with purpose. The first to disappear. At first, people assumed it was just bad weather. But then, the disappearances started. Surveillance cameras caught footage that defied all logic. A woman in Berlin vanished into thin air as the fog swallowed her. A group of hikers in Canada's Rockies was seen walking into the mist but never coming out. And the worst part? The ones who disappeared, they came back. But they weren't the same. They returned. In Chicago, a man named Daniel Morgan had gone missing in the fog for exactly 4 hours and 13 minutes. His wife had been screaming for him on the streets. And then without a sound, he stepped out of the mist. But his eyes, they were wrong. Too black, too deep, like pits where no light existed. His skin was cold to the touch. And when he spoke, his voice was not his own. "It's not fog." His wife screamed and backed away. "It's waiting." Daniel never blinked. He didn't eat, didn't sleep. Just sat in their apartment staring at the walls, whispering to something that wasn't there. By morning, he was gone again, and the walls of his room were covered in symbols, written in his own blood. He was only the first. The nightmare spreads. Governments collapsed within a week. The fog never lifted. Cities became ghost towns. The few survivors who dared to venture out found streets littered with abandoned cars, buildings covered in claw-like scratches, and strange noises in the mist.